Hey guys,
I'm Ricky,
and I'm Bree.
and no matter how we're feeling,
We're gonna be dramatic about it. Hey bitches.
Hi everybody, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome
Happy
back.
Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. It is so
Hump day.
nice that you're here. We're so happy to have you. We're wearing the same outfits as last week again. This might start to be a trend.
And if it is, we don't want to talk about
I
it.
don't want to talk about it. It's just that, like I said in one of the last episodes, is that I travel a little bit to get here. Mm-hmm. We record 2 episodes around, and I bring clothes to change into so that it looks like we're here every week.
And then we get down to changing, and we're just like, fuck it.
It's too late. I just want to go night-night. So
It's currently 1:20 in the morning to give you guys a time.
You know what's funny is we're going to
reference.
look back at this and be like, holy shit. Think about like back before we had a studio, before we had a whole team.
A makeup team, a hair team.
Yeah.
So I'm not, there was 0 point of me braiding my hair in the bathroom because they didn't even change.
Yeah, honestly, we're really trying to sell that we're recording on multiple different days. We're not.
No.
It's all on the same
So
day.
if you see us in different outfits, okay, no, that's not true because we usually do 2 at a time.
2 at a time, yeah.
So-
That's just how our schedule works.
Yeah. Yeah, it works. Whatever. It's fine.
So
You caught us.
if you see 2 different outfits, most likely at this point, it's because we recorded them on 2 separate days.
Yeah, we genuinely, there was a chunk of time.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
for this one,
Especially if we have a lot to talk about, that's because we haven't seen each other in a while.
yep.
But yeah, I hope you guys liked last week's episode. We,
Hold on.
what?
I'm just thinking about the fact that if we would have changed episodes, everybody would have been like, wow, his hair looks so fresh. 2 weeks in the future, they would have been like, what the fuck happened?
Oh my God, yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, if you didn't watch last
whatever,
week,
that's
we told everybody that I got my hair cut.
Mm-hmm.
She did it. She has a degree in
cosmetology license.
That's what I say that.
Let's damn about it.
And I have never got my haircut from her, but I've just been talking about needing a haircut, and she was like, let me do it. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Go for it, babes. So she did.
Mm-hmm.
And she was kind of just like, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And I was like, you know what? I don't care. Do what you want to do.
I think it
And
looks good.
yeah, so thank you for that.
It's fucking fresh.
Thank you for the outfit, or for the effort.
We hope you guys had a good week.
Yes, we hope you guys had a great week. We hope you guys liked last week's episode. It was really just a chance for us to catch up and tell each other what's going on.
Yeah, some new things going
These
on.
days.
Different things.
Literally, yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, I honestly liked it.
I did too.
It was fun. It was
It's
a good
nice.
episode.
It's nice to do that. Just a little catch up. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that'll
chit chat.
I feel like that'll happen once in a while when we either just don't have an idea that's inspired us, or
Or we haven't done our research.
an idea fell through. Yeah, so I'm very excited to tell you. Both of us had an idea for episodes to film.
Yeah.
And we're going to tell you what they are so you can look forward to them.
I'll go first.
You go first.
Because I'm excited to hear yours, and you've already heard mine, and if you've been listening, you won't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
My plan is to talk about conspiracy theories that I find very interesting, whether they are serious or just very like laid back, funny, whatever, like more of a joke, and get Ricky's reaction to it.
Because I'm not a conspiracy theory boyo.
At all.
No, I don't really pay much
At
attention
all.
to them.
And I'm all about it.
And honestly, a big part of the reason why is because I like to live life with the mindset of being blissfully oblivious. I don't want to know about the bad things that are going on in the world, or the bad things that could potentially be going on in the world, because
Fuck the government.
They would scare me. And so it's better if I don't know.
Well, then I'm going to have to put like some serious ones in there just to scare you.
Just to scare me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my idea was to so originally I had talked to her a couple weeks ago about doing an episode about the 4th of July, because I've noticed that the last couple of years it seems like the people in America, I'm seeing it's like becoming a thing where some people just don't want to celebrate the 4th of July anymore. They don't think it should be celebrated. And so I was like, well, what's going on? Why is that becoming like a thing? And so I was talking to Brie about like, maybe we could do an episode where I kind of do a deep dive and educate ourselves and anybody that's listening on why maybe celebrating the 4th of July isn't that great. But in doing the research that I did, I found out there's not a whole lot to talk about. the gist is that the 4th of July was originally celebrated because it was technically the day that America was freed from the British. And it really wasn't all of America. It was just the whites. Black people were still enslaved by white Americans.
Yeah.
And they were still enslaved for a full year. I'm sorry, a full year. They were still enslaved for almost 100 years. Mm-hmm. I believe. I haven't researched recently, you guys. So I don't know if I for sure have that right. But
it was sometime for sure.
Yeah,
and we weren't free. America free.
Wasn't completely free. It was just the white people that were from the British. And then eventually it was signed into effect that black people were no longer to be enslaved by white people, and that is Juneteenth.
Yes.
That is when Juneteenth happened. And so a lot of people say that Juneteenth should be the day that Independence Day or the 4th of July or whatever you want to call it is celebrated, because that's the day that actually everyone was free.
Right.
And so that's a big part of why people think that it shouldn't be celebrated. But another big part of why people think the 4th of July shouldn't be celebrated is because within the last couple of years, women's rights have just been fucked over with the whole...
We're no longer free.
No, with the whole anti-abortion thing. Yes, the whole Roe versus Wade thing. It's all so fucked up.
It is.
And... that's another
reason. We're not
reason.
A free country anymore. Point blank, period.
And so that's a big reason why people think that it's just not cool to celebrate Independence Day when we don't have the freedom that we're supposed to have.
No, we don't.
Yeah. And so I was just like, you know what? Maybe we should put a nip in talking about the 4th of July, because there's not a whole lot to talk about. And I think that stuff, saying that matters, but it
does
not
matter,
enough.
but it's not
enough to dedicate an entire hour-long episode to.
I agree.
But it does matter to mention. But the other idea that I did have that I was excited to do...
spit it the fuck out, because I've been waiting.
...is a whole episode dedicated on a deep dive into the Wild West. Cowboys. Fucking robberies. Hookers. Saloons. All of it.
Love that idea.
I've always been so interested in, like, what the fuck was the Wild West?
Yeah.
Were there really just cowboys out there slinging guns and being
pussy?
bad? Yeah, literally. Was that, like, actually a thing where people just didn't have laws and they just did whatever the fuck they wanted? Because that honestly sounds cool, and I want to know more.
And I want to be a cowboy.
Yeah.
Or marry a cowboy. Sorry, Bailey. Become a cowboy and I'll be happier.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
But I told my husband, I was like, listen.
I want to be a cowboy, baby.
I want to ride a cowboy.
Save a horse, ride a cowboy.
Absolutely.
Sorry, keep going. Did not mean to cut you off. My
you're fine.
intrusive thoughts, like when I slapped you in the nipple with my comb.
Oh my God.
Or sprayed you in the face with water.
It's all right. Intrusive thoughts win sometimes.
Yeah, they've been winning all day.
They make for really entertaining moments in life. Yeah, and I'm here for it. And I'm here for it. But yeah, so I actually recruited my husband, who is better at reading than I am. He loves to read. So I was like, what would you say to you doing the research on the Wild West? Give me like a rundown of like how it happened, what happened, like what made it the Wild West, and how long did it last, and why did it end, and all this stuff. And just give me some fun facts, a little bit of a timeline, whatever. And he gave me a list. And it just didn't seem super exciting. And I was like, I wanted it to be fun. Like, we're talking about cowboys and robberies.
And the truth of the matter might be that it's not as exciting as it has been hyped up to be.
Yeah. And I just didn't give myself enough time. So once I saw the what he had provided me, I was like, okay, I'm going to do a little bit more research and see what I can find out. And I got to the point where it's like, okay, the West is a designated section. What made it wild? So I got everything up until that point figured out, and now I have to actually research the Wild West part and everything that happened in that point, because I think it's interesting to find out how we got there, what happened, and how it ended, and break it down. So I just didn't have enough time to get all that information. So I was like, all right, let's wrap it up. But neither of us are prepared.
No, because I was busy as shit all day. This week was just crazy, honestly. And I can say this because this episode is coming out in the future. I've been cleaning my house because I am doing a surprise party for my husband's birthday tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to just get everything figured out and done, and also trying to like hide food, hide decorations, hide all the shit I have bought for this without him finding it.
Yeah, that sounds rough.
So I didn't, on top of everything else going on in my life, I didn't have time to get all of my facts straight and all of the shit that I want to say to you about these things. But I have my ideas down.
Yeah.
It's just been a minute since I've really dug deep into these conspiracy theories and stuff. So I'm like, I gotta be on it if I'm gonna be doing this for an episode, just like you. So
right, and I just need to finish my research, and if it ends up being trash, then I'll scrap the idea. But I think that I've always wanted to learn about the Wild West, but it was just one of those things I never took the time to learn about.
Especially because cowboys are such an obsession for people right now too.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I am mad about it. Shit.
No, me neither. No, me neither. But because we weren't prepared for those ideas this time, we jumped into our other ideas that we have on the
back burner
docket of ideas. And today we are going to be addressing breakups of all kinds.
Friends.
Family.
Boyfriends. Girlfriends.
Any kind of a relationship that can end, we're going to address it. Because it's just, we need to. I feel like a lot of the stuff that, I keep teasing. I'm going to tell everybody about the story that happened with me and my ex. It just needs to happen. And, so I just feel like, you know what? This works. We can do an emotional episode. So we might get a little emotional during some of this. I probably will.
I won't. I'm a cold-hearted bitch. I only get upset about my dogs.
Almost cried in the last episode.
Yeah, about my dog. I was crying. It just, the tears didn't fall.
Yeah, because you were holding back. But if you guys aren't into this kind of a serious, more emotional episode, that's okay. We'll see you next week. We'll have you come back for some funny, silly, goofy time. But we do want to break it up and have some depth. That's not just silly, goofy constantly.
Yeah, we're not so...
We're human. Yeah. We have depth. We have emotions. And so, we just wanted to get into it. So, do you want to start with a story or do you want me to start? How many do you have?
Just 2.
Okay, I have 3, so I should go first.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with a friend breakup. I don't think a lot of people talk about friend breakups, and they're
so fucking real.
Those
are harder than relationships sometimes.
Because I've heard this before, and it's so true. You go into a relationship with the idea that it could end, but you don't go into a friendship thinking that it'll ever end.
Right.
You go into friendships thinking like, oh, well, we're totally compatible and there's nothing, forcing us to stay together. It will be fine. And then it ends and it fucking sucks. Now, I have had too many friendship breakups. I've had some rocky road over the last, ever since I was like 17, 18 is when I had my heart broken for the first time by a friend. But this one sticks with me particularly because I lost this friend by my own behavior, and I take full responsibility for it. We had been friends for a few years at this point, a good amount of years. We spent a lot of time together. We were really close. And I won't be giving her a real name just for privacy reasons. But we had just gotten to a point where it was like, I don't know, like she was going through some stuff in her personal life, and I was still going through the process of growing up. I was still maturing. I was still learning what it meant to be an adult and to not be, have so much drama going on in my life. And
because if it's one thing about this motherfucker right here, dramatic ain't even enough.
And that goes for you too, baby.
Oh, I know. I know.
And there's a reason we branded ourselves with these words.
Exactly.
But we had there was a point in my life when I worked with this girl, we'll call her Claudia. And she was a manager at the place that I worked at. And I did not want to work. It was not my main source of income. I did not want to work, point blank period. And so I called in and said I wasn't coming in. I made up an excuse. I said some bullshit was going on that wasn't going on because I just didn't want to work. Now, I wasn't calling into her. I was calling into the general manager or the owner or whoever it was there and said, like, sorry, I'm not going to be there. I don't even think she was there the night that I called in. But the next time that I saw her, she asked me straight up, like, was that actually going on? Did you actually have to call in? And I lied. And I said, yeah. And she said, do you swear? Like, on our friendship, do you swear that this is true? And there's been debate over the years of if that was fair for her to throw that at me, because
I don't think, I'm going to interject, I don't think it's fair, because if you needed a day for whatever, you needed a day.
Yeah.
And I feel like swearing on your friendship at that point, she was your manager asking you that question. Mm-hmm. And she almost held it against you on a management level and a friendship level.
Yeah. When it's, in my mind, they're separate things.
Yeah, you guys are friends outside of work, and in work, that's your manager.
Yeah. And so, some people have said, like, her using our friendship to get me to admit, like, the truth just wasn't great. But at the end of the day, she was asking me flat out. I said, yeah, no, I was telling the truth. And then she asked me if I was lying. And I said, no. Do you swear on our friendship? Yeah, I swear on our friendship. And then she was like, do you really swear on our friendship? Because, like, that didn't sound very legit. And I was like, no, I take that shit seriously. Mm-hmm. If I'm swearing on our friendship, that shit is real to me. And I won't do that unless I'm being honest. Mm-hmm. And I don't pull out that card on my friends very often unless it's like, I don't know, like if we were playing with a Ouija board or something and I felt like you moved it, I'd be like, do you swear on our friendship you didn't move it? And if you said yes, and I found out that you were lying, or whatever I can't think right now, but whatever it is, and I found out you were lying, I'm going to be genuinely upset. Mm-hmm. Don't fucking lie to me on our friendship like that.
Right.
So she knew how serious.
Lie to me, but don't lie to me on our friendship.
Yeah, because that means, like, that you just don't value our friendship.
Exactly.
If you're going to risk it like that. And, so I had originally sworn on our friendship, even though it wasn't honest, and then, like, immediately took it back. I was like, no, I'm sorry. I don't swear on our friendship. That wasn't cool. And then I explained to her what was going on. And she had just told me, like, you know what? I'm sorry. We've been friends for years at this point. I feel like I've got a really good grip on who you are as a person. And the majority's fine. The majority's great. The majority of who you are as a person is okay with me. But things like this, I just can't deal with. I've got a lot going on in my life right now, and I just can't have this kind of a friend in my life right now. And she walked away. And as far as I know, she never looked back. Mm-hmm. This friend was the most, I don't know how else to say it other than saying the most angelic friend I've ever had. This girl is literally
an absolute angel.
Angel from heaven above.
To anybody and everybody, even if you've done her wrong.
Losing her, I will regret that forever. Mm-hmm. I fucked up. Mm-hmm. And I know that I was growing up and I was learning a lot and I had a lot to learn. But I just wish I hadn't let it ruin that friendship. I still to this day, like, just wish every day, like, I think about her and I think, like, does she ever think about me?
I'm sure she does.
I hope she does.
I'm sure she does.
We had a really good connection.
And it was a good chunk of time, too. Yeah.
Over the span of
at least 5 years.
Years and jobs and other people. And, you know, she was one of the people I used to go to the bar with a lot. Mm-hmm. And we were just really close for a while. And so it really hurts that I can never speak to her again. And I've tried to reach out a couple of times to try to like let her know, like, I think that the person you wanted me to be, I've grown into. I genuinely think I've grown up a lot. I think I've learned a lot. At the time, I have a boyfriend now, or I have a fiance now, or now I have a husband. I've really grown up, and I've turned into the person that I genuinely think you wanted for me. And if you could ever like, find it in your heart to give me the chance to prove that to you, it would mean the absolute world. I would never take it for granted. I just, like, it just haunts me, you know? And I've had other friendships where I wasn't in the wrong that have ended, and I've been salty about those. But, like, this is one of those ones where it's like, I know I fucked up. And I learned my fucking lesson because of losing her as a friend. And I wish nothing but the fucking best for her and her family. All of her family. I just wish, it just sucks that I can't be a part of it. And I will miss her, like I said, until the day I die. And so that's my first breakup story. Claudia, if you're listening, baby girl, I miss you so fucking much. I love you, girl. I hope you're doing well.
I never gonna stop loving you, bitch.
And I will probably continually message you from time to time and be like, hey,
you should.
Still here. Still missing you. Still loving you. Still wanting friendship with you. If you want me back yet. Because who knows? I mean, that happened.
Pick me. Yeah. Choose me. Love me.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Meredith Grey, that shit.
Yeah. Absolutely. Your turn, babe. Hit me.
Oh, lordy lord. Okay. I was just going to talk about fucking Earl.
Okay.
Goodbye, Earl by the Dixie Chicks is about my ex-boyfriend.
Okay.
We were together for a long time, and our relationship was very toxic, I feel like, from the beginning. But I had never been in a relationship before, so I feel like, not a serious relationship, I should say. Like, this guy, he was like my first everything, my first love. Lost my virginity to him. Like, that was just everything I knew. I thought I was gonna marry that guy one day. It's so fucking happy I didn't. So happy. Dodged a fucking bullet. But I feel like our relationship was insane. Like, absolutely insane. The shit that I dealt with him, the shit I even did to him was not cool either. Like, I was a fucking shithead to him. There's a lot of shit I did that wasn't okay. And we had been together for probably like 3 years, 3.5, maybe closer to 4 years at this point. And he was a year younger than I was. So I was out of high school. I had graduated. So we had been together for like 3 years around this time. I graduated. I still had friends and like my brother in high school, and people would tell me he was hanging around this girl all the time. Like, they would see them in the hall and like walking to class and all this stuff. And like, I thought it was weird, but he would always lie to me. And then I guess he started giving this girl rides home. This was before Life motherfucking 360 or Find My Friends. Okay.
Okay.
So like, I had no way to know, but I trusted him because that's your person telling you these things, and you just are going to believe it. Right. You know, whatever. Well,
and I'm sorry, but if your friends are telling you something about your boyfriend, they're not telling you because they want you to break up with them. They're telling you because it's true.
Right. It's happening.
And you can't
listen.
Just be like, shut the fuck up. You don't know anything. Because that's so bullshit.
Well, and it's like, trust your gut too, because my gut was telling me that like they were right, but I just believed him because I didn't want to believe that was what was going on.
Yeah. And
basically, I can't remember exactly how it got down to it, but he had showed up at my house one night, and I was with two of my friends, Taylor and Nate. And they had parked at the end of my driveway, and me and Earl were in my driveway talking. And I think they had blocked him in because they were like, no, because those two were still in high school. They were seniors, and they were like, he's going to fucking face this, and you guys are going to talk about it. Like, this is fucking bullshit. Like, deal with it. We were in my driveway. We got into it. We were like screaming at each other, and he like still just nothing, like would not admit to it, anything. And I don't really remember all of the things that were said because I blocked out a lot of this shit, honestly. But I do remember very vividly he, because I said I said something along the lines of like, I wanted to hit him for the shit that he had put me through. And like the shit that I was dealing with, and like I didn't listen to my friends, and I felt fucking dumb for doing that. And so then he was like, "Oh, hit me, Brianna, hit me." So I hit him. I hit him in the face, and it felt so fucking good. It sounds so bad. But then
I mean, you know better now.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Like, I would
like you guys
never
It sounds like you guys were both toxic for each other.
100% we were.
But that was like 12 years ago?
Longer.
And you...
No, that was 12 years ago.
Well, that was a good math on my end. You were young and toxic. And most people are.
Exactly.
You've grown. You wouldn't do those kind of things now.
No.
You've learned from them.
Exactly.
Learn from this.
Not that person, but
Right.
I definitely did hit him, and it felt fucking good at that time.
Well,
I was
after
like,
everything
fuck
I
you.
had heard that he put you through, yeah.
Yeah. And so he left, and after that, I was so sad. I was so heartbroken. Like, and we were not together for 6 months. And everybody was telling me that he was dating this girl now, and she was over at his house all the time and all this stuff. And I just was so sad. And it was to the point, like, I went to Taylor's grad party, and they lived in the same neighborhood as each other. Earl and his girlfriend at the time drove past me, literally walking up the driveway from my car to Taylor's driveway to go into the grad party. And they both flicked me off as they drove past. And my fucking dumbass, one August night, he called me and wanted to talk. And I fucking ran and did it. And actually, I was on a date with a different guy when this happened. And I cried. I was on a double date. And I cried, and we left. And then I went and talked to him that night.
Yikes.
And it was really kind of fucked up because that was the first person I had talked to in that 6 months of not being together.
Yeah.
Where I was like starting to move on, starting to like let go and just get over it and like be okay and be at peace with it. Cause I felt like I never got closure because I didn't get answers either for the shit. So he wanted to go talk. So we went to a park because remember we were young, and we went to a park and we had talked about everything, and he had broken up with that girl, and he said he was sorry and all this stuff. And of course I fell for it all, and I got back together with him that fucking night because he was wearing, this is so dumb. He was literally wearing my favorite outfit that I liked him in too.
Okay.
The black.
This all sounds very manipulative on his part.
Yes. And whatever.
It's almost like he knew you were on a date and he was losing his chance.
Seriously, I remember saying that to Taylor. I was like, this was a different Taylor that I was on the double. I had 2 Taylor friends.
Okay.
And I told her, I'm like, it's like he fucking knows. He fucking knows. There's no like, how else? The timing is like impeccable.
So conspicuous.
Yes. Calculated. And so we ended up getting back together, and then it was good for a while. And like, when my mom got cancer, like I shaved my head, he shaved his head with me, like stuff like that. And we were doing good. He was there for me for a lot of shit. And then it went downhill again, really fucking fast. And that was when you and I got really close. When you guys started to see the bad stuff. Yeah. Like when he would drop me off at work and I would come in and I'd be like crying and upset about the shit. And like, I remember you and Stacy would be like, fuck that guy, like he's a piece of shit, like you just need to be done, whatever. And then more crazy stuff happened where he would do, like we talked about in the previous episodes, like he would basically stalk
you for sure,
and harass me and try and control everything, like how he came into Domino's. He came into Domino's when like Derek I had to think about that. I was like, shit. But he came into Domino's when like Derek and the guys were working, and they like all yelled at him to get the fuck out, like shit like that. Like that was the type of shit I dealt with him. And then I broke up with him because honestly I started to realize I fucking hated him. Okay. Like that is what it came down to. Like getting back together with him probably was the best thing for me because I was like, I realized like he fucking sucked. Like how he treated me, like I deserved so much better. That probably sounds so bad, but whatever. And
well, I mean, I have another friend that had similar vibes with her first love. And by the time it was over, she was like fully ready to move on.
yeah, I was
With
like,
no like heartbreak really, because it
Right.
was just like, I'm over this.
yeah, like, and that's how it was. I was just like, I can't stand the situation I've been put in. I just don't like any of this. And it got to the point I broke up with him. I would talk to him here and there. He would send me messages. Like I think he had to have been in his second year of college at this point. And he would send me messages all the time, like saying how much like he loved me and he missed me and like he wants to work it out. And like, I guess I kind of fed into it a little bit, which was not cool on my part. Like I said, I did some fucked up shit and that's like one of them. And then I slept over at a different guy's house and that guy's brother was good friends with Earl. And like I knew.
So it got back to him?
Yeah, it got back to him and like he was blowing up my phone the entire time I was there.
The entire time you were bouncing on another guy's dick.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't know if that's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was getting knocked up. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. And like, I ended up I never talked to him again. Like I ghosted him and like, there was a time when I can't remember, we were moving out of somewhere and I had found like an old phone and I read like all the messages, not all of them, but like some of the messages. Cause I was just going through the phone like, oh my God, like reading different things. And, I was like, God damn, like I felt genuinely sorry for how I ended it. Like I wish I would have just done what he did when we broke up the first time.
Yeah.
And just cut off communication entirely, because I looked back and I'm like, I feel bad because I think I'll always appreciate what I went through with him because it taught me a lot. And it taught me to not like accept that kind of love or deal with that.
Yeah.
Like that's not okay. That's not healthy. And like, we did have a lot of good times too, you know, but I felt bad. And like, I have wanted to reach out before and just be like, I'm so sorry for like all the shit that I put you through too. Like, I hope you're doing well. I do truly wish the best for you.
My instinct as your bestie is to be like, don't.
Oh, I'm not. I never would. I never actually would. I would never reach out to him because like I have no interest to, but I just at the same time, I'm like, I just feel bad because like I feel like I could have just been better to him towards the end.
Yeah, that he deserved better.
Yeah.
But so did you.
Yes.
He treated you badly as well. He was just as toxic. And has he ever reached out?
No.
Then there you go. That's all you need to know.
No, he just he blocked me on social media for a long time. And the only reason I know this because I don't fucking creep. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm friends with his mom on Facebook still. And she'll like tag him and stuff. Like if they do stuff and I see the posts. And it's text. And then every now and then it'll highlight like blue.
Oh, okay.
So it's like either you're blocking me and unblocking me or you're deleting, I don't know, maybe deleting or something. But I've noticed that and it's like, it's kind of weird.
So after that, you were pretty much okay, just to move on.
Yeah, I was good. I was totally fine. Like it got to a point where I was so okay.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm done with this. Like I'm wiping my fucking hands clean.
Yeah.
On to the next.
And sometimes that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
No, I mean, sometimes that's just how it goes. That's what you need to get to just to be able to really let go. I think that first love.
And I think why I feel bad or felt not feel, I don't really care anymore, but like why I felt bad is like I was at that point, but I don't think he was. Well, and I mean, he could have been and he just maybe was saying shit to me to say it to me. I have no idea, but whatever. It is what it is.
Well, like you said, I'm glad that you experienced it because it helped you learn a lot and it helped you grow as a person and helped you learn what it's like to be in a healthy relationship or what a bad one looks like.
Yeah. It taught me a lot. Yeah. I feel like every relationship, friendship, any kind of relationship that you have with somebody teaches you something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And that was the lesson that it taught me. It's just, I don't need that shit. Nobody deserves it. And I deserve better because I'm a bad motherfucking bitch.
Absolutely. My first relationship breakup was with a man named Ernie.
Ernie and Earl should have been besties. Let
Honestly.
me tell you, they probably would have been good
Ernie
friends.
and Earl. Obviously that's not his real name, but Ernie, one day I went to Domino's to flirt with the manager because he was hot and I loved his arms and he had a beefy body and I'd love to go over there and flirt with him because he would get so bashful. And all of a sudden there's this guy standing behind him with his arms crossed, just staring at the interaction that's happening between me and this straight manager of
Very straight
Domino's.
male.
And he would just get so bashful and I'd be like, yeah, you love it. And then he walked away. And then this person, Ernie, comes walking towards me and he goes, are you gay? And I said, yeah.
Read the room, buddy.
Yeah, I was like,
Read the room, Ernie.
do I look like I could possibly be anything but gay? And he goes, well, okay, yeah, cool. I'm bi. All hush hush, like it's some big secret. And I was like, oh, shit. Why are you telling me that?
So you like dick.
Okay, cool.
You want my dick.
Right. So I'm like, okay, well, shit. Okay. So then, from there, 4 fucking years went by of he didn't drive. He had epilepsy. And so he had seizures from time to time. So he couldn't drive. And so I would drive him to and from his shifts at Domino's, not all the time, but sometimes. It was my excuse to get to see and spend time with him.
And in my opinion, I feel like he was doing that to just
use you, take advantage. 100%.
He
Probably
just
was.
sucked everything out of you.
Probably was. And he, so I would give him rides and I would stay late to after work to hang out and try to talk to him some more and whatever. And I'd flirt like crazy with him as much as I could. And he'd flirt back, especially if we were alone.
Yeah.
He was hot and heavy flirting
I was going
to
say, you guys were more steamy. Like, the stories were steamier when we weren't around to, like, experience it. But I saw a lot of the flirting, though.
And honestly, looking back, that's probably a red flag. If he's not willing to do that in front of other people, then he's probably not open. It's not that genuine. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he would get pretty steamy. And some of the stuff that we would talk about was hot. And it was just, like, taking these turns. And I was like, okay, are we going anywhere? And then eventually it got to a point where we would kiss sometimes. Mm-hmm. And it was like so sweet and like puppy love and just like cutesy stuff. And then I think he like quit his job or got fired or something.
I don't remember what happened there, but he was just gone.
He was just gone. And I was like, oh, well, that sucks. Like, I'm sad because I feel like he's just gone out of my life now. But then out of nowhere, popped back up and was working at Domino's again.
Pulled an Earl.
And I was like, oh, hello. You're back.
Maybe it was medical reasons.
It could have been, but I just thought I don't know.
I think he quit out of nowhere because of medical reasons. That was the excuse that he gave because I remember all of us were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck is going on here, bro? So anyway, yeah, he shows up. He's back, ready for another round of Domino's. And I was super shocked, but I was so excited to see him again. And I remember I kept trying to like further their relationship. And for timing purposes, this was the summer that Dangerous Woman album by Ariana Grande came out, our queen, our Lord and Savior.
Our Lord.
And the song Into You was one of my faves.
A fucking bop.
And I would play that while driving him home and to work. And the song is literally... If you didn't know,
press play, turn it up.
Yeah, the song is literally like, I'm so into you that I can barely breathe. And like, I just kept fucking playing this song. And finally he was
just
like...
Just on repeat, the only song that you ever listen to when he's in the car.
And he says like, are you trying to tell me something?
Ew, no. I can hear it. I can hear it.
No. Literally fucking no, you stupid ass...
You should have been like, no, I'm not into you at all.
Yeah. No. So he was just kind of slow and kind of a dumb little boy, a dumb boy. But I just liked him, and I thought he was cute, and I still, like, when I picture his face, I don't think he's ugly. I just...
Kind of slow.
He was kind of slow.
It's mental illness, isn't it?
It's mental illness, and yeah, when I picture his face, I genuinely don't think he's ugly. I think that he's, I've always thought he was kind of cute. And like I said, like, there's other people in our life that it's more about the personality for sure. And when he was alone with me, that personality made him even hotter. And so that's why I was into it. That's why I was attracted to him. That's why I wanted to keep it going. But it was taking so long.
He
and
derricked you.
What?
He derricked you.
100%. And then there was a night where you and I were together with him. I don't remember who else was there. But you, like, I remember... it was another night that he had just left me disappointed.
But didn't I just flat out say something to him one time?
Yeah,
I was just like, what the fuck's going on? Like,
what are you doing with him?
Do you even like him? Like,
Yeah.
are you just toying around with him?
Because this is getting old.
Yeah.
It had been years at this point of up and down, back and forth. And nothing was ever made official, okay? But one night I was with him and Bree and whoever else, and I just got frustrated because he keeps going back and forth. He's so hot and cold. That song by Katy Perry could not have described him better. And so I walked away. It's nighttime, and I just start walking down the street, and I was like, just walking, just trying to
Get away.
disconnect from it and him and all of it. And you must have told him, like, follow him. Like, he's into you. What are you doing? And so he ran after me, and I was like, okay, I'm in a rom-com now. This is great. So now we're just walking under the stars, and it's so cute, and we kissed, and it was just romantic, and I was like, I am so happy right now. OMG, double HKP.
He entirely pulled a Derek on you. Do you realize that?
Yeah. Fucking douche. Oh, and then it kind of got to the point where, you know, now we're back to getting on track. We're kissing, we're flirting more often. I'm driving him to work and back again. Like, it's just like things are like rolling again.
Progressing.
Then he starts telling me he loves me. But we're still not together.
And that came out of left field, too.
Yeah. We're still
I
not...
remember you're like, what?
We're still not officially together. I was just like, if you love me, then why do you fucking act like this, you fucking weirdo?
You fucking goofy bitch.
But at this point, I was like, I love you too. And I feel like I genuinely did.
I think you did. There's no doubt in my mind that you...
I don't know if
you
it's
did or
nearly
didn't.
even remotely close to the love I feel for Corey. But it was my
It's
first
a different
love.
kind of love, I'm sure.
Yeah. And so I said it. I meant it. I was into this boy. And then we all went on this big casino trip together.
Yep.
And we told this story on our Scandals episode. If you haven't heard it,
That was Ernie.
that was Ernie. That's who I was talking about. And this was the first time I had gone away with a boy. I had been away with my friends and their boys, but I had never had a boy to go away with. But this time I did, and he came with me, and it was fun. Except for the fact that he had, like, epilepsy problems in the pool.
Like, he was getting, like, a migraine.
Yeah, and he was
From
like,
the fumes.
he was overheating. He needed to be recharged or something. So it's like, baby, it's okay. And everybody knew we were there as a couple, and it was like we were becoming official. It was becoming a thing. And then that night we fooled around. But the next time I saw him, after we got back from the casino, I went to Domino's. I don't even know if I worked that day. But I went in, I walked up to him, and I was like, hi, I haven't seen you in a couple days. Like, how have you been? It's, you know, I missed you, basically, whatever. And he was just like, guys, when you hear this part, it's so fucking sad. He was like, oh, I'm doing good. You know, it's fine. It's been a good couple days. Do you mind if I talk to you, like, one-on-one in the office? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. And everybody hung out in the office from time to time. So we got the office alone. We went in there, we were hanging out, and we were talking. And he told me that he had a lot of fun at the casino, but he just doesn't see that happening again. And to be honest with me, he just doesn't think he's as gay as he thought he was.
Yeah. You heard that right.
I could not wrap my mind around what he was getting at. Now, your instinct might be, okay, Ricky sucks at sucking dick. If this is what they did and he blew him and he broke up with him the next day, it's his blowjob skills. Baby, I'm telling you right the fuck now, I know what I'm doing.
It wasn't that. I just think that...
You heard it. I was going... No, I'm just kidding. I don't...
You heard it.
I don't fuck around. I know what guys like. I'm proud to say that. And...
You're a man's man.
I'm a giver. I'm a pleaser. I'm a people pleaser. So it's like, anytime I have done that, I really try to go
the extra
mile to make it a good time for them.
Yeah.
And so I know, like, my instinct was to think that too. Like, well, maybe I just didn't do a good job, but
it wasn't that. I think that he literally just toyed you around the entire time.
And I think he realized that
he knew what to tell you to get you to
keep it
do.
going.
Yeah,
like, keep it going.
He liked the attention, I feel.
I agree. And I think that he had gotten wind that it was, now it's
more serious?
Now I think he might be thinking this is getting serious, and I can't have him thinking that because it's not.
Which is fucked up because he dropped the L word on you. You didn't drop it on him.
No, and that's what made it the worst. Like, we had that romantic walk under the stars. We went to the casino together as like a date, and we were kissing all the time and saying we loved each other and just like flirting constantly. Like, it was really, really gearing towards this like big epic relationship. Yeah, is what I was thinking. And then he says, I'm not as gay as I thought I was, and we should just be friends. He
just like manipulated the fuck out of you and honestly everybody else that was around.
Yeah.
Too. Because it was just like a facade that he painted for everybody.
Yeah. Because it was like, I was a core part of our friend group, and he wasn't. And it's like, I don't know if he wanted to be.
Yeah, he did.
Because we were the cool kids. I'll tell you that right now.
And like, no offense, but he didn't have any friends.
No, he was quiet.
He didn't have anybody around like that we knew of.
He was new. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had never seen him before that first night.
Right.
And so yeah, I think that I don't know. I think that he was just using me to get whatever he could out of me, and that fucking sucks. Mm-hmm. And I was my heart was broken. I had been spending 4 years off and on trying to build this relationship with this guy, which I know might sound ridiculous and desperate and all the things, but I was so desperate to be loved. I had so much love to give, and just nobody was giving me the chance. And so when this guy started showing me attention, I was just like, okay, all right, I'm locked in, babe. I'm strapped in for this relationship, however long it takes. And I just didn't expect to be so used and taken advantage of for so long. And I really thought like it was culminating in this epic relationship that just didn't happen. And so it really broke my heart. And at the exact time that I got my heart broken, I am this very strong believer that music finds you when you need it.
100%.
And at this moment, I found Maria Mena. And if you guys don't know, Maria Mena, she's never been like crazy, crazy popular. I feel like she's pretty niche. But her shtick is sad breakup songs for like the majority of the music that I've heard. And one of the very first songs I found by her was a song called Sorry. And the like the main part of the song is just the guy keeps telling you, sorry, like, sorry I did this. I'm sorry. But like, you can just tell like they're just going to keep doing it. And there's like a metaphor about how like, you took my heart and you shattered it, but it's okay. I picked it up, I rinsed it off, and I'm bringing it back for more. Like, let's do this again. Here's my heart again, even though whatever. And I could not relate to that song more. And I remember pulling you and Stacy into the car, and I was sobbing. And I was like, guys, you have to listen to this song. It is so descriptive of how I'm feeling right now. And I remember sitting in the front seat, and one of you was next to me and one of you was behind me. I can't remember which was which. But like when it got to the heart of the song, I just had to completely turn to the window and I was sobbing.
Oh, I remember that.
I was sobbing. This boy had put me through so much. And I remember one night before like it had ended, I was with Bree. We were hanging out at Subway like we clearly have done. We've made it clear at this point that was the thing we did. And I went to... I'm getting heated talking about it. I had to go drive him home. I promised him I would drive him home. So I went to go drive him home, And he just let me down again. Something happened where it was just like, we get to his house and he just fucking goes inside.
Yeah.
And
like he would just give you no love.
He would give me nothing. And I was just giving him everything. And so I just came back to Subway. You were waiting for me because we were going to hang out. And I just sat in my car. And this was the first time I have ever had this happen where I listened to sad fucking music and screamed. I've never screamed and cried that hard in my life. He had let me down for like the millionth time, and I was so fucking over it, and I was losing it. I was losing it. And then finally you messaged me like, hey bestie, like what's going on? Where are you?
Yeah, like waiting for you still.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm so sorry. And I don't know if I told you in the moment, but I was like literally having a fucking breakdown in my fucking car in the parking lot. And I go inside, and I'm beat red. And I was like, I need to go to the bathroom like first thing. So I beeline it to the bathroom, walk in, I look in the mirror, and I'm just trying to pep talk myself. And I'm like, it's okay. It's going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. And then I just looked at the tears filling my eyes and I said, but what if it's not? And then I start fucking sobbing again because I just brought it right back out of myself. And I calmed down. I collected myself. It took a while. I came out, talked to you. You were like, are you okay? Were you crying? I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine.
My car was just hot.
And then
that's the worst though, when you're like trying to tell yourself, like, you know, your heart knows something's off, something is wrong, but your brain is just telling you.
I think it's the other way.
Or your brain is telling
knows
you
that something's off, but your heart's like, no, but I want it to work. I need it to. And it just wasn't.
Right.
And that's not even the worst part, you guys. So that happened. Then he called it off after our date at the casino. And then, a couple weeks had gone by or whatever. And my friend Heather was so like, bad bitch, girly girl, for the girls, like on my side about this whole situation. And she went up to him, and he was working, and she worked with us, and she went up to him and she was like, so how are you? And Ernie was like, oh, I'm okay. And she was like, yeah, you doing okay? And he was like, yeah, I'm fine. And she was like, you've been doing okay ever since the whole Ricky thing happened?
I remember that.
And he said, oh, yeah. I guess I kind of forgot about that whole thing.
She should have never told you that.
See, you've always felt like that, but I've always felt like that helped me solidify. He's a piece of fucking shit.
Yes, but it like broke your heart.
Oh my God.
Even more to hear that.
It was breaking my heart all over again. It was like it happened. And that's why I can understand why I probably didn't need to know that.
And I understand it made you kind of be like, fuck him.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Like, that was your I hate him moment. And like, I think, yeah, you probably needed to hear it. Like, I understand why she said it, but I don't think that she should have at the same time, because you were hurting so bad.
Yeah.
Like, you were going in like the thick of it all. Yeah. Still. Like, you were going through it.
Very much in it, yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I just seeing how upset that made you too.
It crushed me.
Like, that was hard to see.
That's how little I meant to you.
Yes.
You forgot about it already.
Yeah. And that was hard. And that's why I was like, I just wish she didn't say anything, because I don't think that you needed to know that. But at the same time, it was your fuck you moment. Like, I fucking hate you.
But
you
it still took me a long time to get over that.
It did.
It took me a long time to heal from that. Going through a bunch of roommate drama that I was going through, and financial problems. I was really struggling financially in my 20s, trying to figure out how to budget. I fully was depressed.
Well, and when it rains, it fucking pours.
I completely changed after that. I don't know if you remember noticing much of a difference, but who I was up until that point and who I was 2 years after that, when I had fully healed, I've never been the same.
Right.
I used to be the bubbliest, love everybody, want to hang out with everybody, want to talk to everybody, want to be friends with everybody person, full of energy, full of happiness, constantly, to I'm like half that now.
But that's what happens, is like, I feel like that's how people's innocence gets ruined. Yeah. Somebody hurts you.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah, and it fucking sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't really, I mean, now he's moved on. He's married to
A female.
And I mean, I guess I wish all the best for him or whatever you're supposed to say, but.
Or die.
No, don't die.
It was a joke. I don't.
We don't wish death on anybody,
no.
Of course. But like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, you suck.
You shouldn't fucking take advantage of people like that.
Literally,
and just hurt them.
You should have just choked him with your dick.
But honestly, thank you for giving me such a first. Thank you for giving me such a dramatic as fuck first love, because that was like TV show shit, and I'm there for that.
Shout out to Earl and Ernie.
Fucking
and Derek.
Douchebags. Yeah, fucking douchebags. Okay, so for this next story, it's a story. It's Bree's story, but I was a huge part of this. It was all of us were involved with each other, and so this is about our friend Stacy, and
your friend.
Now my friend. At the time we had. Stacy, Bree, and I had grown working at Subway together, becoming very close friends, spending a lot of time together. But Bree had a lot of stuff going on in her personal life. And I know it might be weird that I'm taking the lead with this, but...
We just don't know how to navigate.
We don't know how to navigate this one, but I think it's important for you, and it might be therapeutic for you to run down this situation. But there's just a lot of stuff going on in your personal life.
A lot of things that nobody truly ever understood.
Yeah.
No matter, like, I don't know.
How much explanation was happening.
Yeah, like, it didn't matter. And I felt like it got to a point where, like, you guys were just sick of it.
So, specifically with me, I had gotten so tired of feeling like I was being let down by you that I decided I don't want to be your friend anymore. And we've said it before, like, our friendship hasn't been sunshine and rainbows the whole time.
Yeah, the entire time. No.
This was one of those times that it kind of went downhill, and I was like, I need to distance myself. I can't keep being disappointed by you because it hurts too much. And then I missed you, and I was like, we need to be friends again. But that wasn't the case with Stacy.
And so that's kind of what it came down to. All the personal stuff that I guess I was going through that I'm not going to get into just because of...
It involves other people, too.
Yeah, that it just doesn't need to be talked about. Or,
Yeah.
like, it's not the place to talk about it.
Yeah.
But the things I was going through was very, very toxic. It was very fucked up, and this is not Earl. This is not from Earl at all. But it was things, like, that were outside of my control. Basically, if I wanted to have a roof over my head and somewhere to sleep and...
To feel safe and secure.
I needed to do what was asked of me or told. And if I didn't follow that, my life was fucking hell. I didn't have... It was fucked up. All of it was fucked up. I'm just not going to get too deep into it.
I think that, like, especially for me, I didn't think it was that deep.
No,
I didn't think it was that serious. I was like, there's no way that you're not going to have a place to live.
Well, and it's like, you guys saw that how many times? And, like, ultimately, it ended up in me moving an hour and a half away. That's how bad it got. And, like, I was away from everybody. But anyways, because of everything I was going through, I feel like you guys just kind of got sick of the shit and distanced yourselves, which is kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of really fucked up because you guys were... This is going to sound so mean, but it's like, you guys were supposed to be my best friends, and you guys just kind of were like, peace.
Well, I mean... When
I needed you guys the most, you guys weren't there.
I know.
Is what I'm trying to say.
And from my perspective, it was like, there was a lot of just like moments where it just felt like I was just being let down over and over again. And I know now that wasn't something you were doing on purpose, maliciously, or with like intention. It was not
It's truly out of my control.
But it didn't feel like that at the time. It just felt like, I don't know. I don't know what it felt like, but it just it didn't feel like there was enough of a reason for you to not be coming through with the things you were saying you were going to. Specifically, like a birthday party that I had for myself with everybody going up to the casino, like we did multiple times. And we knew that you being there for me was really important. And I was like, I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to drop you off. Like, I'm going to make sure you're there because I really want you there. And then that day I was ghosted.
My phone was shut off.
And to me, I don't fucking know what's going on. I just know that my best friend is nowhere to be found on my fucking birthday. And this was not the first time I felt disappointed. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. So that was on me for not, I don't think I was mature enough to fully grasp it at the time.
Well, and
what was going on.
And I think that was like the issue is nobody, like I said, unless you're in the situation that I was in, you're not going to understand it. For sure. You never will. And like, yeah, my phone was off. I couldn't fucking reach out to anybody. I had no way to contact people. Like, it was just a very controlling situation that I was living in. And Stacy, basically, like, I think it was right around that time. Hold on, I got to think about that because, yeah, it was around that time. It was right around your guys' birthdays because I think Stacy gave me the benefit of the doubt after that because I think her and I were just fine. Like, I explained the situation because I feel like in that time back then, she was a little bit more understanding with things than you were.
I think like I said, this wasn't my first time being disappointed.
Yeah.
But it might have been one of the first times that she was kind of let down.
But she was not upset with me at that point. We were still talking because her and I were.
My point is that this was like final straw for me.
Oh, yeah.
But for her, it's not final straw yet.
Yeah. And so, like, she understood everything that was going on. We were fine. We were not fine. And I think
basically what we can just break it down to eventually for her, it got to a final straw moment.
Well, how I remember it, and again, like you just said, it's been how long? I don't know if that was even on there, but it's been so long that the facts and what happened might be a little twisted around her. Yeah. But there was a night because I had multiple jobs. I was working at the hayride. And I didn't have a place to go home to. I couldn't go home that night. I was kicked out or whatever. And so I stayed at Cole's house. I didn't have a car. I had nothing. I had everything taken from me. My phone was off, everything. I had literally Bailey and Cole, and Bailey had to leave. I don't know if it was early that morning or what it was, but he left and
Bailey was still in middle school at this point?
No, he shut the fuck up. No, he was not. But he had to, I think he worked or something. There was a reason he was gone. He left super early and something happened with my friend Cole and I had stayed at his house. Well, his car wasn't there either. Like, I'm pretty sure Bailey drove us to Cole's house. We didn't have a vehicle there. We had no way to, like, leave so I could get to work.
Okay.
And this is another how with Claudia, the, like, work stuff and your friendship lines shouldn't have been crossed, but lines were crossed in this situation as well. And anyway, so I was stuck at Cole's house. My phone was off, didn't have a car, had no way there. I used Cole's phone to call Subway because I was supposed to be in at 11. And I had called and asked or like said, is there any way you can contact people to see like if somebody can take my shift? Because how am I going to get there?
Yeah.
Like I have no way there. My phone is off. I can't contact anybody. Like explain the situation. And Stacy was pissed off about it. And I'm like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I don't know where you wanted me to go. I don't know what you wanted me to do, but this is my situation. What can we do to figure it out? Like, can you help me? And I remember even asking if, like somebody could even just come pick me up.
So you weren't too far away.
No, I wasn't too far. Like somebody could have came and grabbed me if the timing was right. But pretty sure how I remember it, Stacy like got pissed off and hung up and basically said, don't worry about it. I'll figure it the fuck out, and hung up. And then something else happened, miscommunication with something that was going on between the two of us, and she took it completely differently than how I said it and how I intended for it to come across, and then she was just done too.
But do you remember there being a conversation where she had specifically, like, explicitly told you, we're done?
I'm pretty sure it was a text message.
Okay.
Pretty sure she sent a text message and she just was like, basically, like, I just don't want to deal with this shit anymore and, like, done. Like, I'm wiping my hands clean of all of it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And I just remember being like, I was so sick of it because at that point it was like, you and I were no longer friends because of everything I went through, and you were fed up and you felt like,
yeah, at this point you and I were still done.
Yeah, like we were not talking at all.
Yeah.
And then Stacy, basically the same thing because of all the shit that was out of my control. And it's like I said, you guys were supposed to be my best friends. And then I had nobody. I had Bailey because that was it.
Yep.
Because in that shift, the shift that I called to ask for help on, that was one of my last shifts at Subway. Mm-hmm. So it makes me wonder if Stacy was just assuming I was trying to get out of it because I just didn't care, but that's not the case. That wasn't what happened, you know? And I could be totally wrong on that, but I know that for a fact because then come November 1st, I was out of my house and living in a city an hour and a half away with no friends, nothing. My boyfriend. That is it. Mm-hmm. Taylor was my only friend. She was the only one that came down to see me, took me out to dinner. Like, we hung out. We did all the things. Like, she was the only person that was there for me during that time.
Yeah.
And that just, I don't know. But I feel like, I mean, what now? It's been how many years? And
I honestly don't know.
It's been 8 years. It'll be 8 years in November.
Well, how long have you been dating Bailey?
8 years in July. We were barely together. We got together in July. This all happened September.
So let's
for
say
us.
7. Let's say you guys were together for a year, just to make it easy.
Okay. So
really early in your relationship with him.
Yeah.
Because she had formed a bond with him. Like, she became buds with him. And I remember that, like, it was hard for her to have to lose him as a friend as well. But you can't just keep one. You can't just end the friendship with one person in a relationship and expect to keep the other because they're together. What was it like for you losing her as a friend?
I just think a lot of it was like, I mean, I got over it and it was fine, but it just was, to me, it just was a lot of like, it just was shitty. The whole situation was shitty. And it's like, I needed my friends to be there for me and I had nobody. I mean, I'm fine with not being friends with her. I would never want to be friends with her again.
I think at this point, there's peace for both of you in that. Just knowing, like, the friendship wasn't it was good for a minute, but not for life. And sometimes that's just the case. And sometimes it is what it is. It sucks because I love you both. And I feel like I would, obviously love the peace, love for everybody to be friends and whatever. But at the same time, like, it's okay. It's okay. And then like not long after that all happened, I was like, I miss her. I miss Brie. So I like go on Twitter and I was like, I miss my little lamb.
Yeah, we would tweet back and forth to each other.
We'd subtweet at each other without mentioning each other, but like we knew we were talking to each other.
That had been like 6 months.
Yeah.
Because I was, at that point, I think I was living at Bailey's parents' house.
Yeah. Yeah, and like that was rough because like I had made it clear like I didn't want you in my life anymore, and then Stacy had decided she didn't want you in her life anymore. And so like it was almost like we were a united front and we were moving forward.
And it was also the entire group though. That is what it is.
We were young and stupid. And I genuinely do look back at that and think like I just wish that I hadn't behaved that way, but at the same time like my feelings were hurt. I was disappointed.
But I don't blame you for having hurt feelings because I would too. And
I think that both things can be true. I was allowed to feel disappointed. I was allowed to feel hurt, and you were allowed to actually be going through things that were out of your control. It's just that we never lined up. It was like I was feeling these things and you were going through these things and we were just missing each other with the communication, like with me understanding really. And I've since then come a long way. And I think that I have also seen you grow a fuck ton as a person. And it's similar to the Claudia story where it's like, I wish Claudia could see me now. I don't know if you necessarily feel that about Stacy, but it's like, if
No.
she could, I don't think that those negative feelings would still be there, because I feel like you genuinely have come a long fucking way.
Well,
I can depend on you.
right.
Like, you aren't gonna let me drown. You're
No.
gonna let me on the door.
Yeah, we will be on the door together.
Yeah, I'll probably sink it because I'm a big boy, but we will.
It's okay.
We'll ride it together.
We'll sing together.
Yeah. Aw, I love that. I don't want to be called Jack though, because Jack's not hot.
I'll just call you Rick.
Yeah, call me Rick. That's my name. But yeah, I just want to ask, like, have you ever had like any genuinely emotional, like sad, crying nights about this? Because I don't think
I think when I moved away, I just, so much had happened. And like so much had happened in the time from like us not being friends to me moving that I don't even know if you know all of that stuff. Like there was so much fucked up shit. My whole life it felt like it just was done.
Yeah.
Like
that was you lost everything and everyone.
Lowest low. Yeah. That was the worst, like the worst time in my life.
I'm so sorry you went through that without me. Because I am the kind of person that loves to be there for people and loves to help people through things. And I put other people through, or like above me and my feelings and my needs as much as I can. Because it just matters more to me than my own feelings. And so just to know that I could have been there for you and I wasn't, it sucks. So at this point we have a whole ass podcast together. So I would think at this point we're fine.
Yeah.
But have you moved on and let go of the disappointment that I caused at that time? Genuinely.
Yeah, because I feel like now, like when we've talked about these things now, I feel like you understand, like, that wasn't me and that wasn't my shit. Like, it was my shit, but it like wasn't me letting you down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in that moment you felt like it was from me, but like it was the situation I was in.
You were making.
Yes, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't my choice. It wasn't up to me whether I could do these things or not.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it was either have a safe, secure living situation or
have nowhere
and have to live
and have friends.
Yeah.
You know?
It was either have friends and live on the street or with your friends or wherever, or you have a living situation and you just have to follow some rules.
Yeah.
And that's a really hard, shitty thing to be put in. But, yeah, I genuinely do understand. And I do regret that whole situation. But at the same time, I don't fully regret it because look at us now.
Right.
Like
things happen for a reason. Things happen the way they're supposed to.
We've really grown into who we are now, and we've really like I feel like our connection's a lot deeper. And now we're at the point in our friendship where it's like if some time goes by and we like meet up again, no time has passed. And those are the best friendships. And it's like
because it ain't friendship, it's family.
Exactly.
Bitch.
We just got to the point where it's like, okay, we got through all the drama, we got through all the big hurdles of friendship, and we're still holding on.
Right.
And I still have my Bailey, who I love so much. Again, shout out to you, Bailey.
Yeah, shout out to my husband, Bailey.
Bailey, if you're listening, this one's for you.
Shout out to Bailey. Did I make that clear?
We love Bailey. Yeah, I think that's it for that story.
Yeah.
I think it's time to move on from that one. I'm just glad that we're good and that you both have essentially found peace in the whole situation, that it's like we've just moved on and there's no need to hold on to the past anymore. It's all said and done. So I'm going to finish it off with a breakup story that's a little unconventional, I think, because it's not your typical kind of a breakup story. This story actually is about my decision to go no contact with my father. This is like a really hard topic for me, but I think it needs to be talked about. It's a serious situation. I think that it fits this topic. I think that it matters, and I think that it could be beneficial for me to get it off my chest. But because it is my father, because it involves family, I could not come on here and talk about this off the cuff. I just can't do that. It runs the risk of me saying things I don't want to say, things I shouldn't say, yada, yada, yada. And so I came in with my thoughts and feelings that I feel comfortable with saying written down. So I'm basically going to read you a story.
Okay.
First of all, I want to start off with a trigger warning to my family. If you don't want to hear me talk about my father in a not so great light,
then we'll see you next Wednesday.
We'll see you next Wednesday. You don't have to listen. No one's forcing you to. I am allowed to say how I feel. I am allowed to say my truth and my experience.
And it's okay if it's different from theirs.
Yes, it does not have to be the same. But I think that this could be beneficial for some people to hear, to know that they're not alone.
I agree.
So a quick backstory of my relationship with my dad. Point blank period. I don't feel like he was ever there for me. Kids do a lot of stuff, right? Stuff like sports, activities, events, and all that kind of stuff. But the only time I ever really remember him physically being there to support me was when I was in a play. It was like when I was like 10 or 11. I was in a production of Beauty and the Beast. And I was the Beast, of course. And the makeup was horrible. It was not great. But it was my first like performance. And if you know me, I'm a performer. I've always been a star. Okay. So it was a big deal to me. And he was there. And my mom was there. And I don't know which of my siblings were there. I've got a lot of them. But I feel like some of them were there. But I just remember it feeling like it didn't matter to him. Like,
wasn't important.
It wasn't important. It was almost like it was a waste of time. And I'm not saying that is how it was. That's just saying that's how I felt coming from him. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen like videos of people recording their kids when they come out on stage on like to sing like choir or whatever.
And they look for their family.
And they're looking for their family. And the caption says, "Showing up matters." And you see the look on the kid's face when they see their mom.
I just watched one of those today.
Those could not be more true. It
seriously
matters to show up for your kids. And this was the one and only time I remember him ever showing up for me. And it wasn't great. It was like, you might as well have not even been here because it feels like you're just being forced to be here. Now, later when I was around 13 or 14, I was in the talent show in school. And it was a huge deal to me. Again, I am a performer. This is what I was born to do. I'm a star. I feel like I am like Rachel Berry coded in that I love to perform. Okay.
Yeah.
So being in the talent show was huge to me. It was like my entire life had been leading up to this moment, but he wasn't there. But it was okay because there were these like scouts or something in the audience, and they were looking for the most talented kids in that talent show.
Sure.
And they would pick one or two from each school in the state that was doing talent shows, and they would select them and bring them to another place where like another round of talent show was happening. I don't know how else to say it. It was like round 2. And me and another girl at my school were picked, which was like a huge fucking deal. I didn't even know that was going to be a thing. I was just there to perform.
Yeah, just have fun.
I was having a great time on stage, right? So I get picked to go to this second round. I'm so pumped, but he wasn't there. Now, out of all the kids that were picked for this second round, I won second place at this talent show. I won an award. I won a certificate, a gift certificate. It was a fucking big deal. I was second place out of all the kids in my state that were at this big talent show thing. And it was honestly one of the best moments of my life. But he wasn't there. Also, I have to mention that there was things that happened behind closed doors that I don't feel comfortable mentioning. But it wasn't just that he wasn't showing up for the things that mattered. There were other things that were happening that were not okay. I've just had a lot of hard time with growing up and accepting that those things happened, and also just being let down by him again and again and again and whatever. But so anyway, from my perspective, I feel like it's always felt as though because he provided for us financially, in his mind, that was good enough. That's what being a father meant to him. I'll tell you right now, I would have much rather lived in a box with nothing if it meant I had a father that made me feel loved than have the kind of life that we had, where it was just being like he was there, he would hand money over, and that was that. There wasn't a whole lot
He bought your love.
It was like there wasn't a whole lot of like feeling like I had a father. I've struggled with continuing a relationship ever since I technically didn't have to anymore, because now I'm an independent adult. No one's requiring me to talk to him, to interact with him, to do anything that has any sort of involvement with him at all. I've been struggling because on one hand, he's my father, but on the other hand, he's never really shown me any sort of remorse or apologized for anything that has happened in my entire life, that he's consistently done my entire life, not just my childhood, my entire life. And I think that a lot of times when it's discussed whether or not it's time to cut ties with somebody, the question is, well, are you mad at them for things that happened in the past that aren't happening anymore and you just can't let them go?
Sure.
Or has nothing changed and that's why you're upset?
Like the same things. It's consistent.
It's consistent. I wouldn't feel any of these feelings if it wasn't consistent.
Right.
And so like anytime these arguments come up, I'm just like, nope, it's everything you're saying doesn't line up, and it's all making me feel even more justified in making this decision. Like,
you're making it easy.
It's making it easier for me to accept that this decision had to be made. Now, I was told a while ago that I have to accept him for who he is, or I have to let him go. But I didn't want those to be the only two options. I wanted there to be the option that he could change, and he could be a better father. He could be the kind of man that he should have been from the beginning.
And that you wanted him to be.
And that I wanted him to be, that we needed him to be. But that wasn't an option. It was either accept him or let him go.
Love him,
and I was like, okay, well, at this point, I didn't like those options, so I just ignored it. I just ignored everything and just kept on going, business as usual, living my life the way I always had. But because I kept ignoring it, I kept getting hurt in the same ways I had been my entire life. It all came to a head when my wedding happened. I had been alone for so long, seeing my family and my friends falling in love and having these big, important relationships, but it just wasn't happening for me. I genuinely got to a point in my life where I had accepted that it wasn't going to happen for me. I was going to end up alone. I had convinced myself that I was going to end up alone, gay, fun Uncle Ricky, and that was all it was ever going to be for me. And I was genuinely, slowly becoming okay with that.
And what did your girl tell you all along?
Everybody told me, like, you just have to wait. It'll happen for you.
It
but
happens
I just,
when you're not looking for it.
Yeah, I know. And and that's what everybody says, but it's like, I didn't want to hear that. I was like, no, I just want to find my person, but I'm not finding my person. And I keep trying, but it's not happening. Well, then I met Corey, and everything changed. I finally found my person. He truly loves and accepts me for 100% who I am. And he's never made me feel like there's anything wrong with me or that anything about me needs to be changed. And obviously that is huge for me. Now, fast forward, and it's time for our wedding. Corey and I decided to have a private ceremony with just our moms because I just didn't feel like my dad deserved to be there after everything that had happened in my life. And Corey's father sadly passed away when he was a kid, and his stepfather is a wonderful man. We love Tom, great guy. But because I wasn't very comfortable having my dad there just for like that reason alone, it was just let's just do us and our moms. It was kind of a vibe. And everybody was cool with it, so that's just what we did. And the only other person that was there was you, my girl. She was there taking pictures for me. And that was huge because that was my wedding day. I got married. And so it was awesome that you were the only person there.
And I think it's more special, too, that just your moms were there.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Absolutely.
so special for both of them as well.
Yeah.
Just to feel that important, too.
Like, absolutely.
I just think that's so sweet.
Yeah.
You'll never regret that.
I know.
You won't.
I know. I never will. I'm so happy that we did that way. Well, because we had such like an incredibly small ceremony, we wanted to have a reception party so that everybody that loved us and wanted to could come celebrate with us. So it was time to start planning a reception party. And there was a lot of work that needed to be done to make this party happen. There was so much planning and shopping and cooking, driving, organizing, and so much more. It was a lot of physical work, hard work. And my mom did all of it. My dad gave her the money to pay for things, which is great. I don't want it to come across like I am not grateful for that, because I very much was. I appreciated that so much. All the little things that we had at the party wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for him helping pay for it.
Right.
And I made sure he knew that I felt that I was genuinely appreciative. Like, thank you so much for making this happen for me. So I'm really grateful that this happened. Thank you so much. I wanted it to be clear. I was very grateful. But that's kind of how it has always been in my life. He hands over the money. My mom does the work.
She's always been the one that shows up.
Yeah. Yeah. She was at my talent show. She was at the second talent show.
It's because your mom's a good mom.
And that's why I have such a connection with my mom.
You're a mama's boy.
She's the one that taught me how to love. She taught me what unconditional love meant. And she's not perfect. Don't get it twisted. But no one will ever make me hate my mom.
Yeah.
So stop fucking trying.
They can't make me hate you, Liz.
Anyway.
They just can't.
No. It's the big day. The day we've all been stressing about for weeks. It's time to party. And so many people showed up.
There were a lot of people.
It was amazing. And incredibly overwhelming. By the end of the day, Corey and I were exhausted from talking to people. But it was so fucking nice to see all those people. So many people that we we're just so happy that they came to celebrate us. It was the day was just full of love. And if you came to our wedding reception, seriously, thank you so fucking much for being there. That day will forever go down in history as one of my favorite days. But, unfortunately, my dad never showed up. He just didn't come. He never called me to give me a heads up that he wasn't going to make it. Nothing. He just didn't come. And that's when I knew in my heart that he hadn't changed and he wasn't going to change. This is just who he is. Now, I want you to try and imagine how much that hurt. It fucking sucked. But I didn't let it ruin the day for me. I noticed he wasn't there. I noticed he hadn't showed up. But I still tried to enjoy the day. I still tried to spend as much time with people as I could. I tried to make my rounds and make sure everybody that I could knew that I was happy they were there.
You did good.
But I definitely noticed he wasn't there. But that day wasn't about him. It was about me. It was about Corey and
the love you guys share.
It was about our love. Yeah. But that doesn't mean it didn't break my heart. That once again, he just wasn't there. And keep in mind, this was 6 months ago. This is when the decision was made in my mind. We're done. You're done.
I feel like
you don't get me anymore.
I feel like you were done a long time before that, but this was just like what made it official.
This is what
that you were.
It.
Yes, and like this is what made it clear to him that you're done. You know.
So, like I was told in the past, I was faced with the decision once again. I have to accept him for who he is, or let him go completely. But this time, I didn't shy away from the decision. I decided it was time to let him go. And that was definitely not the first time that he had disappointed me. But I promised myself that day that this was going to be the last time I let him have that kind of power over me. I let go. And some people in my family might be really upset to hear some of this. They might not understand it. They might be angry that I'm even talking about it on a public platform. But I really wanted to discuss this because, first of all, it's my truth. It happened to me. It's real for me. It's my story to tell. And secondly, I wanted to make sure that it's known that sometimes people fucking suck. And sometimes those people are our parents.
Or family in general.
Family in general. It doesn't necessarily have to be parents. You're right. Family in general. It's okay if you have to distance yourself from your parents for your own well-being.
Just because they're your parents, you do not owe them anything.
Just because they're your family, you don't owe them anything.
Family,
if they're not good for you, it's okay. It is okay to let go. I have spent too much time hoping and praying and waiting for there to be a difference. And there just isn't going to be.
No.
And I can't wait anymore. You've just let me down too many times. You don't deserve any more chances. I don't care if you have given me $1 million fucking dollars.
Right.
Or 100 cars. Or whatever the fuck you have to give. I don't want it. I just wanted a dad. And it sucks because I have a couple friends that have like really great dads, and I just don't have that. And like I've like so many times I've seen stuff on TV with like dads just like in general, and I'm like, fuck, that's just so sad. Like I can't relate to that at all. Mine just doesn't care enough. Like I genuinely don't think our father knows a lot of our birthdays.
I'm sure not.
So
many damn kids.
There's so many fucking kids.
but regardless, that still should be like important things.
Yeah. In my personal opinion, I think that he should have never been a father. Because I don't think that he
doesn't have the paternal instinct to be one.
I just don't think he cared enough to be a dad.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know what it was like when we were born. If he was excited.
Right.
Pumped to have a baby. I don't know. I was there, but
you don't remember.
I was a day old. Yeah. I was just pushed out the womb. I don't know.
5 minutes into this world.
But like, I just don't. He's never shown that he like really cares. There's a difference between handing over money.
Yeah.
And caring.
You can't buy somebody's love. You can't. Money doesn't buy people's love.
Yeah. And
money also doesn't show that you love somebody.
Right.
Either.
I mean, nothing like it's not just like one specific thing that shows love. It's just not. But it's the little things. It's showing up to see your kid perform at the talent show.
Right.
Like my mom did. It's all the fucking hard work she went through to make sure that my wedding went off without a hitch. That she did. It's shit like that. It's like you really just... It's just about caring. And I like even... I remember like even on Christmas morning... We would all be so excited, like unwrapping our Christmas presents and having a great time. He never knew what we were opening. He wasn't the one that purchased them. He wasn't the one that wrapped them. It was all my mom. And like that might just be a typical thing that moms and dads do, where it's like the woman kind of just takes the lead with that kind of stuff. I mean, that's kind of how it is with me and Corey. I kind of take the lead with stuff, but he's always involved. He knows what's being bought. He knows you know, he's got input and he doesn't rap. He's not a rapper. That's me. I'm an organized person. I make it look really nice and pretty.
Same here, yeah.
But, like, he's involved. And I just remember, like, specifically Christmas, for example, I don't even think he was really watching that much. You know what I mean? Like, that's, to me, like, if I had babies, I mean, I have my kitties, but if I had human babies...
It's the most exciting thing to watch them react to things, especially things that you do for them. Like, when we gave Roan that new toy, that truck.
Yeah, her little truck.
She was so excited. And it's, like, stuff like that. Like, how can you not just, like, eat that shit up?
I think it comes down to, like, oh my God, my kid is feeling so much joy in this moment, and that brings me so much joy.
Yeah, like, it makes your heart so happy.
And I don't think I ever saw that with him.
I just feel like he doesn't have, like, a paternal instinct and just...
And I think that it being brought to my attention, you have to accept him for who he is with that, or let him go.
That's not okay either. That's not acceptable.
And so I let him go.
Yeah, I think
that's
good
okay.
for you. I'm proud of you.
And so I won't be going out of my way to interact with him. I won't be wishing him happy birthday anymore. I won't be wishing him happy Father's Day anymore. He's lost that privilege with me. And I just wanted to put it out there that if that is what you're going through, that it's okay. Because
choose you.
You have to put yourself first.
Yeah. 100%.
You just have to. So sorry I got emotional there for a second, guys. But, like, that's... Anytime I bring up the fact that he didn't show up to my wedding, it kills me to this day. It's so hard to just not feel like I mattered enough for him to be there. But it is what it is. It happened, and I will heal from it as time goes on. But right now, I'm still getting there. And we will get there someday, I promise you.
You will.
But
you'll be at peace with it at some point.
Yeah.
It'll be all right.
Yeah. So I think we're ready for the advice segment?
Yeah.
I'm so excited for this one. From Jessica.
Hey, Jessica.
20 years ago, I filmed a porno. I was 18 at the time. It wasn't something I had sought out to do. I had just gone with my friend for moral support, but when she chickened out at the last minute, I stepped up and did it. I regretted it immediately, and even more so when I found it on the internet. But after a while, the video seemed to disappear, and luckily, no one I knew ever found out about it. But a few years after I shot that scene, I met my husband. But I hadn't told him about it. You see, I was ashamed, and I prayed that he would never find out. And so far, he hasn't. We've been married for 15 years, and we have 2 kids together. He's the absolute love of my life. I check frequently online for that video, and unfortunately, I found it on one of the more popular porn sites last week. Now I'm terrified that someone I know, or someone my husband knows, or someone my daughter knows is going to find it. Should I finally come out and tell my husband? I'm confident that he won't leave me if I do.
Then why are you hiding
He
it?
knows that I was a bit on the promiscuous side before we got together, and he's been okay with all the crazy things I've done. But I'm terrified. I don't want him to know, because what if he wants to see it? I don't want him to feel insecure. My husband is... ... Well, he's a big boy. He's just not as big as the man in the video. And even though I've had the best sex of my life with my husband, I'm scared that he's going to lose his confidence if he sees the video. So, what do I do? Should I tell him or just pray that he never finds out?
I would tell him.
Yeah, I feel like genuinely you got to give him more credit than that.
Yeah, I think that you need to tell him, because if he finds out,
yeah,
and you didn't tell him, I feel like he's going to be left wondering, what else didn't you?
And honestly, if
tell
you're
me?
right, if you're super worried about him finding out, or Yeah. If you're super worried about him wanting to watch it, then just tell him you haven't seen it in years.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a lie, but whatever. It's protecting you both.
Yeah.
Like, just be like, this is what happened. I've been really ashamed to tell you this because I just was afraid that you would think differently of me, but it's just been really eating at me, and I think it's something you should know.
Yeah.
This is what I did when I was 18. I got raw dogged by a big black guy with a huge hog.
Shout out, Bailey.
No, but like, just tell him like, yeah, I did this, and this is what the situation was, and I mean, I haven't seen that video in so long. I bet you anything, it's not even a thing anymore.
Yeah, who knows if we could even find it.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell you. I wanted to be open and honest with you. I bet if you did that, then he would probably just laugh it off.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I feel like, I don't know, like if Bailey was, I definitely would watch it. If Bailey told me he did, I'd be like,
yeah, I want to find it. And I understand that. I understand wanting to
find it. The
curiosity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I would maybe steer him astray.
Away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be like, yeah, well, if you want to try to look it up, I mean, it was like a jungle theme or whatever, like a theme that's totally different than what it was.
And then if he finds it and he's like, this isn't what it is. Really? It's been so long.
I told you I was 18 at the time. I don't fucking know. But
I feel like just tell him. Just do it.
Just tell him.
Because otherwise it's just going to eat at you.
Yeah.
It's going to bug you. You're going to worry for the rest of your life.
Yeah. You just don't need all that stress.
No. Good luck, Jessica.
You don't need all that stress, Jessica.
Just get it out of the way.
Yeah, just go tell Nick.
Yeah, tell him. Tell Nick about the dick.
Tell Nick Lachey about that dick, Jessica Simpson. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I feel like that's really just going to help your conscience the most.
Yeah.
Let it go. Move it on.
Let it go. Let it go.
Or tell him and help him find the video and let him know that...
watch it and fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, that's a good idea too. Maybe you guys could watch it together.
Mm-hmm.
And fuck.
You might like it. You might enjoy it.
It might be a thing. I don't know. Yeah. But I think that's going to be it for this week.
Yes. If you have any topics you need advice on, send it to our email, dramaticafpod@aol.com.
That's dramaticafpod@aol.com.
With advice in the subject line.
And if you don't put advice in the subject line, we're not going to help you.
Then you can eat shit.
Please don't eat shit. It's bad for you. But yeah, we love you guys. We are so grateful that you came by for another week. Again, I know that this was a little bit more of a deeper, emotional episode at times. It got heated. It got sad. But I don't know. I just wanted us to have some depth.
Yeah.
I didn't want to just be silly
to talk
goofy all the
about
time.
Other things too.
It's honestly, in our genuine friendship, we do this. Mm-hmm. We have deep conversations. It's not just silly goofy times all the time.
Right.
So thank you guys so much for coming back for another episode of Dramatic AF, the podcast. We hope you had a great time. Make sure to send us that advice email if you need it. Leave a comment below. Tell us what you think about how we're doing.
What you want to see.
Yeah, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you want to see more of.
Yeah, give us all the criticism politely.
Constructive and nicely. Don't be mean to us. We're fragile.
Mm-hmm. We're just babies.
We're just baby girls.
Yeah.
I almost said baby birds.
I was going to say baby bird.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, we are so on the same page.
Yeah, we're so in sync.
All right, well, that's all from us.
We'll see you next Wednesday.
We'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.